Hello, boys and girls. It's me, Cool Yoshi. Welcome back to my 100%, 200% playthrough of Mario Kart World for Switch. Where, as you saw here, we're doing ghost races, and Bowser, just kind of casually going around, messing out, and just casually, easily beating most of the ghosts here. But yeah. In the last video, we did the first part of this, but there's still a lot more ghosts to tackle, and now it starts to get a bit trickier. As we get closer and closer to the end of the map, things are going to get a little bit more tighter, and certain parts are also going to get a lot more trickier. I'll say that much. This one has like an interesting setup you can do. I'm going to actually show it. This part is so slow. You might have noticed that in order to get past it efficiently, we get to do our first ever Viz trip. For those of you who don't know how it works, is you basically hold down stick, then you release it at the time you want to actually go on there. And yeah, it just gives you a jump. And we use this to get onto the rails because the water is, again, incredibly slow. And we want to get on there anyways because there's coins on the other side. The only way to do that, though, consistently, is to basically go off pretty early. And by doing this, we get a couple of extra coins. And then I believe there's also a skip you can do that gets you even more coins. I'm probably not going to go for it. Last time I did it, it kind of wasted a bit of time. And then from here, it's kind of up to you what to do. I kind of messed that up. I might just restart. You do need to do a lot of this section right, by the way. If you do not, you're probably better off just restarting. There's actually quite a few different ways you can do this section. But anyways, that section, right there, that's the reason why I do not like this track. It is so hard to do correctly for some reason. I just don't like it. Okay, I'm going to do this the other way, which is to do this, and then just kind of wait. And then, yeah, you can just kind of take this rail and here and, get a bunch of coins. I'm not sure how fast it is, but I'll take any advantage I can get here. And then we can run into this wall, which gives us some air time. And this is one of the different ways I try to do that section. The other way is to go through that shortcut way. Otherwise, almost everything about this track can be quite tight. Getting this to stay is pretty hard. Getting the sticks after this is pretty hard. And getting the sapphire is pretty hard. And also, this goes to surprisingly tight with you almost the whole way through. Anyways, I'm only doing that skip setup once. It's not I don't like it, as I don't think it's really fast unless you do it a very particular way. And also just doing this route is pretty fast anyways, and we want the coins. That's why we're going over there. And then, okay, cool, we got the coins here. And alright. Okay, we actually nailed that the way we were supposed to. So yeah, just doing that saves a lot of time. And yeah, other than that, yeah, we just basically missed up 3 times in a row. There's not much else to say about this part. But yeah, as you see, the City of Ghosts is a lot more tighter with me. And this is despite the fact, we have a little advantage because we're Bowser and doing other stuff. I think if I need to save more time with this, I might try using the Real Racer. The Real Racer is actually the fastest car in the game. But it has some problems like turns and vice versa. Anyways. Okay, good. We got the correct ending, so we won. So yeah, that was a surprisingly tight course, which it only took a few tries to do. I pretty much only started getting this once I learned that strategy at the start to just get off the water. Before that route, I was really slow going into that because the water is really slow in this game. You never want to use it if you can help it. So yeah, what about those sections where you have to just drive straight on water for a whole bunch of time? Alright, so now we're not wasting time here because we got all that done. I'm gonna do this one first, I think. Why not? This one used to have DK as the hinter, but because there's Shy Guys on it, they put Shy Guy on here instead. It's cool. Shy Guy does have an outfit theme to this, so I guess it works. Now, I believe this one has like a really weird set. Okay, hang on, we start. Because these ghosts are tighter than normal, we definitely need to get this right. Now, in the old games, these time trials were not bad at all. You didn't even need to beat the fast staff ghost for a record. You just had to do it, get a certain time on the track, and that's what unlocked them. Anyways, here's a weird skip. Yeah, you can just kind of jump off that post for some reason. Don't ask me why that works, but it just does. Am I going to do that all the laps? Probably not, but yeah, that is actually a little bit faster than going into the loop. But anyways, that's the really funny part I learned about this game, is that you could literally trick off of everything. Poles, yells, no problem. Side other stuff, and maybe some malls, no problem. Feels like you can trick there? Yeah, you will be able to trick there. As far as I'm aware, also, Bowser is the faster character on this, too. And it just looks so cool to do this. Because, it just looks like... Yeah, like, it literally looks like we're just driving straight off, and then, bam, we just kind of do that. That actually does save time, because that turn is really long. I'm not going to do it all 3 laps, just because I want to make sure I get this the first try, but otherwise, it's crazy. There's also another ridiculous skip. I've not learned it, so I'm not going to go for it, but there's a skip where you basically just, like, go off that rail you saw on the left before the trees, and then you just kind of trick off all the trees in a row, and it looks insanely cool. That saves, I believe, about 2 or 3 seconds over going the long way. It's incredibly fast. Anyways, I'm not gonna risk the run, so, like I said before, I'm gonna show you the normal strat here. Which is honestly not that much slower. I think that part only saves like a second or 2, but it looks amazing. Just like literally casually driving off the course almost on purpose, so you can then trick off of a pole and get on. If you did that at DS, you would already have fallen off, but here you do not fall off, and that's very amazing that works like that. I think that's actually probably the best part of this particular Mario Kart, is you now have so many different ways to do tricks or save time. It just looks really impressive. It's almost like they made this game with some time trials in mind, because there's so many strategies you can come up with to just completely destroy the competition. It's so cool. Alright, anyway, no, I do not want to go to my ghost data. Okay, so now we're going to go to Dandelion Depths. Before this route sub, this was a course I think I initially was just doing the hard courses that I thought I would struggle with, and this one I struggled with big time. I could not get a run going from my life, man. It seemed really hard. Still probably is, but it's not nearly as bad with the new setup we have. Just gotta make sure we actually like get the start boost correct. This one is a little layered. You have to like do tricks and boost and stuff. And initially I thought there was, I actually recently rediscovered that. I thought initially you'd want to go up top right because there's a boost panel up there. But upon doing stuff, I learned it slightly faster to just go down here. And we're going to go up this upper part first here just to get some coins. But from here, we're just going to double trick for quite a bit. Anyways, this is how really annoyingly tight goes. Stays quite tight for a while, and the only way we could really consistently beat it is to just kind of take a edge turn here. Initially, I added in quite a few things to try and beat it. A sip. Anyways. Again, this will look weirdly slow at first, but it's not. Probably the toughest part for me is actually trying to get these tricks, though. As you can see, it's kind of tricky timing, and definitely not easy, and that's, for me, made Dandelion Deaths one of the harder tracks to do. Okay, well, thank goodness this step is here. This is the part where I thought I wasted a lot of time because they, like, do this rail glide and go up to the jump ramp in the right side area. Turns out, if you do this course optimally, that's actually slower. It's kind of funny. Some of the cool wall ride sections you would probably think to go on aren't actually faster. Okay, well, that time we nailed that correctly, so that's what this section's supposed to look like, done correctly. Less we're in the ladder for, the better. Now, Ghost does, I think, make a catch because he does do the skip. Although, even he doesn't really do it right, I think. He just kind of goes around or whatever. Oh, yeah, it was... Okay. Alright, well, that was certainly better than my EV, which I just barely beat it the last time. Not gonna lie, that really shocked when I actually beat some of these tracks. Don't you worry though, there are some tracks in this game that will be still pretty tough. Okay, I'm gonna go for that later. Let's go to Sky High Sunday. This is actually a really weird one. I'm gonna do a weird skip attempt at the very least one time, just to show you how cool it is. Initially, I thought going to the guy maps was fast, but it turns out that's actually slow. However, you do want to go here initially to get coins. Anyways, there's not really a good way to do a skip here, so we kind of do this mud trick instead. And you pretty much have two routes you can take. There's also a middle route. That's slow, because you can just go on here. And then we're gonna do this. Oh, okay. I did not do that properly. I think we have to leave that particular point. But yes, is that a weird trick where we're literally gonna hop off the track on purpose? But it turns out that roll is rideable, and if you run into it at just the right point, you can save a bunch of time. I don't know how tight this is, so I want to at least show it off once. I like how this part naturally just slides you. Also, we want to actually do this path first, because it's the slower the free paths. I also get a slight bit more of a coin boost going this route. So you want to go this route at least once. Alright, here we go. That's more like it. It's not the fastest version, but it's still faster than going the long way around. It looks really cool, too. You, like, just skip everything. Alright, now it... Whoa, that was close. Anyways, yeah, the shortcut for the chocolate, that's the only really good you can do here. Alright. Sure, let's do this again. Ooh. Okay, that's not the best version, but that still looked amazing. Okay, I don't know if I want to do it a third time. Actually, well, yeah, no, I already didn't do it. The riskier version of the skip is to do that same thing that I was doing, but go down even lower than, oh my goodness, that drift just, for some reason, didn't want to come out there. It was weird. I think that wasted a bit of time. Ooh, that's very close to falling off there. Kind of really close, man. I'm just gonna do this the normal way. It's not too slower and going the outer route. The outer route's also not really faster unless you go and nail it perfectly. But we do that at least a couple of times because, like, that is actually the way you want to go if you want to go absolutely fastest of all. Alright, so definitely did better than my ever ghost. So yeah, this one's fairly straightforward once you learn all the skips. Initially, it seems like an it's like, oh no, there's not a good mushroom shortcut. What do we do? Turns out we just do that. It's fine. Okay, now we're gonna do Star View Peak. This one's another weird one. I think this one can have some slow stuff. Turns out there's a pretty easy shortcut strategy that makes this hard of a course to master once you know what to do. That trick you see there is not faster, by the way, and we do a different skip instead. So there's a skip where you could completely skip the ramp and just go really fast. Fortunately, I do not know how to do that. I think if I was playing for optimal times, I may use Penguin here as well. Alright, now we're just gonna do our normal strats of take the quarters as tight as we can. Tighter the better. Fastest strat I know of here is to actually go on the very edge of these parts because that avoids the water, which is incredibly slow, mind you. So I'll just kind of show you, yeah, like, as long as you're tricky on that part, you can save just like a little bit of time because, again, the water is slower than just going around the other way. Okay, again, we're just taking these as tight as we can. Holding my line there, because, again, driving in a straight line is often faster than trying to drift around everywhere. Except when you need to take good lines. It's kind of weird. This game is probably more straight line than anything else in the game. Okay, now we'll just go here. Oh. Okay, well, we sort of used it a little bit. Okay, well, this isn't that tight, actually. It felt tight at first because I think, of course, before I learned all the strategies, I kind of just did whatever, and it never worked. I think I did the first skip you saw. Just do at the very start. But it is a much better strategy. And yes, I did also watch all the world record updates, and some of the fences are really fast with their fastest strategies. Alright, now we go to Blue Semina. When I tried this one is really tight. Annoyingly enough, too, there's only one good skip in this whole pack, and it's right at the beginning. So it doesn't really save much, too. So this is another really tight one. First, I was like, okay. I did that too early. So, I don't know how many tries this one will take. I also haven't practiced this in a while. Okay, well, that's about what you want to do. Okay, so There's a weird trick you can do in this. See those film reels moving in the back? You can actually go to the next of those, and those will actually speed you up by a bit. That's the only way you can optimize time in this. And I don't think that rail is faster right away. This is another weird track where you probably do not want to take a lunch. Okay, so now we need to go and avoid this. And yes, as you saw there, I drove on the film reel itself that moves on. That's the only way I found to save time, because if you drive on those when they are going the right way, that's the way of the course, you will go a lot faster than just driving normally. But it's pretty tight to get correctly. Okay, this one's going fast again. So we want to abuse it to go faster. So they basically reverse which direction each go, and you do not want to drive on them when they're going backwards. They'll slow you down, but if you on them when they're going forwards, they will speed you up. And again, the rail's not actually faster as far as I'm aware, so we just do that instead, which saves a good amount of time. Okay, I guess I just didn't do this right. Keep in mind, I did sign these courses that I knew I didn't really have the best times in, and that's why I was thinking. So we're beating quite a bit of these times pretty easily now. Makes all the difference once you know how to do each strat. In fact, just in the nick of time before recording, I did also beat all the time trial ghosts at least once on my main character. It's still pretty tough. Alright, now we're getting into the really, really tricky courses. Not at first. Some of these are pretty easy at first, but these will only get harder, trust me. Otherwise, surprisingly, Blue Bells has a lot of weird things you can do to save time. For one, you could actually go on the rails, but to do that, you once again have to power jump. I don't do either of that in my practice. Instead, we just do a normal edge moving strategy and go for rainbow turbos instead. There is one skip we can do. This is a classic one I remember doing a lot from Mario Kart Wii. Basically, just for the grass like that, pretty fast. Then we take this route because it's faster than going the other way. Then the only way I found to save more time is to actually trick off these molehills, but they can be a bit random. Sometimes you'll get tricks off of them, sometimes you just won't. No clue why it sometimes doesn't work, but it just does sometimes. Okay. It's not the way I wanted to do that, but I think actually bumping that gate out might help too. Some of those frames we bumped out, you can actually rail trick on those as well, but if you bump the gate off, then you can no longer trick on them. Again, a lot of straight line driving. As per usual, in straight lines, Bowser's probably the fastest character because he has more top speed. Even if we do not get him all 20 coins in this, it's still probably faster. Fun fact though, if you use Cal, you don't actually lose much time. He's actually a heavy character, so he has about almost the same top speed as Bowser. So if you ever wanted to, you could use Cal and you would be about the same speed as Bowser. Not necessarily faster, but it's at least competitive. The World Record actually uses him, so I think that's pretty cool. Be fair, it is one track. Fans. It's kind of funny. They had Charging Chuck as one of the characters, yet they didn't put them on Chocolate Mountain, yet they remembered to put the Mel on Moo Moo Metals. It all makes sense now. Clearly, I think they just wanted to make sure they used the main characters first, and then once they ran out of those characters, they would use characters for other stuff. Now, theoretically, I could beat these with almost any time trial I'm. The problem is I'm worried about potentially not getting those done. Okay, well, at least Toad's on this one. At least he got that part right. Anyway. This one, I still have no clue what to do. I believe there's a strategy to just go for a wall ride right away, but it's not really faster. Fortunately, there's not really a big skip here. Heck, this video on here is just not really fast, unfortunately. Okay, there's one skip here. Oh, we barely got that. Holy crap, that was very close. That was almost insane. Okay, good cycle, thank goodness. We were able to make that just fine. Fun fact, this part here, it runs indefinite coins, so there will always be coins here no matter what. So you need to make sure you grab at least some if you want to stay competitive. Oh, again. So I found out just from like watching these apps that you can barely catch all these cycles. But it's very tight though. You have to be very precise. Doing that weaving because if I just stayed there, the crusher likely would have caught me there. Okay, at least we got 2 coins. That's not bad, I guess. Okay. I know you're faster, you can get some of the faster cycles, and also, if you go, like, on the very edge of the platform, you could not get slowed down, potentially. Okay, I did not make that cycle. That's fine. Going that way is probably still faster anyway. Because we did also have a mushroom there to help out a bit. Alright. So I think this is one of the last easy tracks left, which, yeah, see, there we go. See, we got crushed, like I said. Just in the minute when moving around after Shine crashes into that, if it's jumping. A little weird, but it is what it is. Okay, this very short track, but also very tight course. Might be one of the tighter courses yet. Many of those, we're definitely not going from left to right, and that's because we're trying to do certain things here. I believe this run is actually faster by much. Before I did this, I had very big troubles trying to figure out what to do, but I think now we like do tips like that and a few others. This is another course where I think you want to use these simply because of how tight it is. Okay, good. We actually nailed it. As you can see, though, the ghost was pretty tight to me. If you didn't do exactly how you did, or find a faster way to do it, boy, yeah, it's pretty tight. So, surprisingly, we did that on our first try. I guess Mario is a little bit easier to memorize, but it is a little bit harder to do with Bowser simply because turning isn't great for this course. Alright. Now we're really getting into the hard stuff. These are the stuff where the ghosts are actually somewhat fast, and some or others have trickier track stuff where if you fail them, you'll just lose a lot of time. So we'll do this one first. This one, I basically opted to do a mixed version of the route where I just do stuff, but even so, this ghost is quite tight. I found out you pretty much have to do at least one of these new skip segments in order to beat this ghost. And you want to know what it is? Well, you might have also already noticed it, but yes, over on the right side, there's a bunch of passes just randomly there. Don't ask me why they're there, they just are, and that in itself is a big skip, and is the only way you can get a good amount of stuff here. Okay, I got the not bad version of this. This rail is slightly faster and going on lay, but only by a little bit. And here's the tricky part. Okay, we got it. So you have to get onto this rail here, and then at a very precise moment, you have to flip off and try to land on that rail. This is where the real problem part is. Because if you miss that even once, your actually gets taken away, and you have to immediately forfeit the run. You could try to reset it multiple times by doing steps, but mind the it doesn't really give you much time here. Also, this course makes no sense, but hence why Shy Eye is in here, but also, I guess they really have a Daisy track in this game, so I think that's what they were thinking. There's probably no good acts that belong to, like, Daisy, so I guess they probably put Daisy here, because Shy Guy was already going to be put at a different track. Must be very hard to figure out, like, do we use ghosts for? Because we do want to use all characters at least once. I believe that's what Nintendo thinks. Okay, perfect. Oh, that is so annoyingly tight for me, and that's why I do not like that set. It's kind of weird. You can't really go for the climb, but you also need to land at least once, because that is way faster than just going the normal route. I think at first I just kind of did a main path playthrough, and when I checked, I think I was like seconds behind without using that path. So it's very fast to just use that path, even if you do not get the strict with it right. Otherwise, yeah. This is why I didn't do Shy Eye Bazaar right away, because I knew this part would be really difficult. Let's cut this a lot earlier this time. Good, we got the trick. Hey, we got it properly this time. So yeah, take this correctly and you save a buttload of time, because you just go this really nice secret route that just kind of skips a whole bunch of crap there. And for our optimal version of the route, we have to do it twice, but we can't even do it at the very beginning, because, like, we get a mess up otherwise. I don't know why I did that. I know the rails are a bit faster, but I think if I'm gonna do this skip and have it work, that's why I do not like that part. See, if you mess that up, you get bumped around, and then you just get bumped into the wall. And if you mess that up, yeah, you're probably losing the run. This is really tight without doing it. I think one time I did it with one skip, and I was doing it, I believe, on the second lap instead. Okay, good. We got all 3 coins here right away. There we go. Okay, well, I seem to at least found a somewhat consistent strategy for that. Somewhat, as in I still haven't gotten it nailed down, but at least we got it this time. Okay, that gave us quite a few coins. I don't know what you even did in the 3DS version. All I know is back in Mario Kart 7, without the big sip here, this track looks kind of boring without it. I'm just gonna take the weird slow route. This is still faster than doing the other route, but it means we don't have to deal with the other shenanigans. You saw how inconsistent I was. I'd rather go for the normal skip of this. And this is just to prove that you don't actually have to do it 3 times in a race. If you were going for actual record attempts, though, this choice would be a big reset point for a lot of players because of how easy it is to just miss that step, and it's very hard to master it, too. Okay, now for this one, we just kind of go like that, since we don't need to take the side route since we've now reached the track. Okay, surprisingly, that only took a few tries. It could have been a lot worse, sir. Alrighty. Got through that somehow. Somehow we got through that. I think the last easy one I have left is Airship Fortress. The rest afterwards are pretty hard. And, of course, because of our main route, we're saving Rainbow Road for the very last. Now we get to race our son, because, yeah, we're playing as Bowser, so, yeah, now we get to race against Pioneer. Okay, there's a weird trick we can go for here that might save a little bit of time. Sure, let's try it. Okay, cool, we got it. So that's a nice skip you can do. And these rails also really help with alignment. I didn't get the fast version of it, but I see if you do that just right, you can save a little bit of time over going the normal boot. Not much, though, so it's kind of a tricky part. Anyways, Airship Fortress is another tricky course, mainly because it's already pretty tight, and a lot you can do to really save time. And this is the only skip you can really do. Okay, cool. We got at least a bounce. I'm just gonna do the safer version of this. Oh. Okay, maybe not that far. Okay, I get doing that particular route, but that's not what I want to do. Oh, tricked right off. As you can see, that part, if you can do it correctly, is faster, but otherwise it can be quite tight. We could take a normal route around this course, but anyway. Alright, now this is gonna look pretty intimidating in a minute. Oh, okay, never mind, it didn't matter. So you can actually check there and make it onto the right ramp. That's what I'm trying to do. That did not work out at all. I think maybe we need the boost of a trick to make that work. We can do like X beforehand, so maybe this will work. But yes, the tricks can actually help with your alignment in some cases. Alright, well, I'm done doing that. I'm gonna do, I think, what is the safer strategy instead. It's still faster to go on the ramp, but then you pretty much want to trick off at a very specific time to save a little bit of time. Okay. Okay, not bad. Could have been worse, I guess. Guess if you don't know the rails, you probably shouldn't even deal with them. Otherwise, yeah, Airship Fortress, another really tight course that has not really many skips, so how you optimize it again is just going as close to the as you possibly can, and then taking this tight skip here. And there's also a skip you can do where you can jump on the ramp a second time. Okay. Kinda yesterday by that particular set. Probably the easier way of doing that is to actually just do it a little bit and then jump off like I did the last time. Okay. Just sit there to avoid that. It was very close, by the way. Oop. Messed up our initial drift, so we missed a little bit of time on the goose there. Okay, I'm just gonna take the normal path. Much better. I should have just done that to begin with. If you can take the rails on the side, they are faster, but probably not as fast as they could be. I'll just drift there just to be safe. I know that it's probably slower, but if you get a little boost, it's not that slower. Okay. Well, funnily enough, that's one of the easier tracks because, of course, it doesn't really have much skip step. So I can't lie, that is the last tough track left in the game, or a somewhat easy track that you can learn pretty easily and still get a micro on. At least versus the Ghost. But the next one, I promise, is not going to be like that at all. So these next courses, I saved them for last because they're probably going to take a while. So if we did everything correctly, and I'll check at the end anyway. Yeah, we need Wario Stadium now. We need Bowser's Castle. We need Dry Bones Burnout. Acorn Heights. And Salty Speedway was one of the hard ones too. But we did that one already. Same with Cheap Falls, but also, now that I know what to do in that, that's not bad. It's a tough side, and hills can sometimes be tough too, because there's not much you can do to optimize them. And then there's this, of course, because of the really massive skip you do here. But now we know what to do there, it's not that bad. But anyways, I'll see you guys in the next video where, yeah. We're gonna do the next 5 courses. I don't feel confident in doing these in 40 minutes, so the safer way of playing this is to just do this like this. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Comment, rate, subscribe. To keep the setup a bit consistent, I'll immediately end my video when I'm done with this. So yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Until then, comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you guys later. Bye.